Chris Upper with the Door County Film Fest here with Kurt Krauss, and we are visiting with David and Theresa Alvarado.
I love the spice that you put into it, though. Yeah, Alvarado. It's very close. It's Alvarado, and I know I don't look like it, but my dad's side of the family is Mexican, and that's where that name comes from. A lot of times people will see the name first and then meet me, and they're like, "Oh, you're just a white guy." I'm like, I mean, yeah,
I am. yeah. True and true.
Yeah, no me parece, pero mi padre es mexicano. So,
Why are you doing the Spain version?
When I speak Spanish, I go to that place.
Before we go any further, I do want to mention we are sitting at Island Orchard Cider. They let us use the place. They're one of the sponsors this year. So if anybody's watching and looking, they're sitting at a bar. Yes, we are. So back to want to talk to you guys about the film you submitted, which what's the name of it?
It's great. This one is called.
Let's try this again.
Let's start with the top.
Can we try that again? Can we go back to one and do that?
Back to one. Here we go. Alvarado.
Once Tuesday in Stone.
Okay, start completely over.
Oh no! I'm sorry. I was making
the question.
That's my bad. I need to come on. Let's be professional. Ready?
Tuesday in Stone is our film.
that one's going good.
Yeah. We're good. We kind of do things like it. This doesn't have to look professional or.
Okay. Thank God. I really
the people that are watching, they want to know you. They want to know who you are. Okay. They already know what a goofball.
Pleasure to meet you here today.
Yeah.
No, I can't be professional. I literally can't.
No, just be normal.
Yeah, just be normal.
That's
impossible. So why don't you tell us about your movie?
Do you want anything you want to start with, or just
go for it?
I will say that first of all, this is my wife, Theresa, and we're partners in filmmaking, and Tuesday in Stone was our second ever film that we made, and we wanted to do something. We always want to do stuff together. Like we always love looking for opportunities to do something together, and the first short film we ever made was very, very fun and silly, and me directing, because it was my first time directing, I knew I really wanted to be kind of like a secondary character, because I knew there was going to be a lot to wear those hats, of like being on camera and also directing. So after that first one, I was like, okay, that I feel like I've aged 5 years, but also I definitely want to do this again. And so then that second time, we knew we wanted to both sort of be like the co-stars. I view her character as the lead, but I think because we both are actors and we want our own shine, that's a big part of the process at the beginning, is like, what are cool things that we want to do that people are not necessarily going to just give you the opportunity, to do some kind of like spy action thriller thing. We love those genres. We love the John Wick movies. We love the Mission Impossible movies. Those are big inspirations. So that's kind of where we started, was like, we want to do cool stuff.
Yeah.
How can we make that happen? Which is very like self-aggrandizing, I guess, at the end of the day. But because we're actors, that is sort of like where it started, and then we just started like brainstorming from there.
Yeah, we excuse me, we both were kind of in the zone of like, how can we just create our own path, especially like as a lady, there's not a lot of action opportunities on smaller levels, and that's what I want to do. We both want to be action stars and actors, so we were like, how can we kind of create our own path? So that's where we started with the first film, and then Tuesday in Stone was a lot more kind of like action focused. We were like, how can we pack as much action into 7 minutes as possible?
The first film we made was called Love, Revenge, and Karate.
Yeah.
And
It's as
it
silly
was-
as its name.
we knew like let's make it a little silly. I teach martial arts like as my day job. I cast one of my students as like our son in the movie, and it was very funny. It was kind of melodramatic, and me something I learned about writing is we were submitting to a festival here in town in Minneapolis where there's a 7-minute limit, so it has to be 7 minutes or less. And unfortunately, I really enjoy using many more words than needed. And I was kind of realizing like that is hard. And what we did was so much backstory, so much exposition, so much character
We
development
packed way too much
that there
in.
wasn't as much time for the fight sequences. And when we really looked at it afterwards, we were like, oh, well, that
It's a
was
bummer.
that was a rip off.
Yeah.
Although we made it, so no one ripped us off.
Yeah.
But when we were gonna make the next one, we were like, you know what? Let's if we have to sacrifice anything, let's sacrifice a little exposition. Let's sacrifice a little and just get right into the action.
Yeah.
And we ended up filming a whole scene that we pretty much didn't use. Also, we were fighting a little bit on set that day. It's fine. It's fine. It's no big deal.
It's fine. It
Yeah,
happens.
people
you
fight.
know.
People fight all the time. We had a bunch of days that went really well. One day did not go well at all.
And that's what
And
didn't make it in. You know?
that day, yeah, that's sort of like the beginning when you're actually like, we're kind of staging, setting up what is about to happen. And we were like, you know what, this just is what it is. Let's chop that part up and keep all the action. So that was definitely going into it. We were like, we want to just get right into the action.
Yeah. We also really wanted to make a splash with this one too of what we can do with action. I mean, he choreographed everything, he directed everything. So you were wearing like a million hats on set, but then I edited it. So it's nice to like be on set and be like, how is this going to cut together? So it was great to have that teamwork. But we wanted to kind of show off his ability to choreograph and coordinate stunt stuff. So
yeah,
that was fun.
It was fun. Yeah.
That's pretty much why you got accepted into this festival.
Amazing.
Cutting out the exposition, just jumping right in, making a good story in 7 minutes. That's always what I'm looking for. I always those are the kinds of films that like I'll like, okay, put a little mark there because I didn't have to listen to somebody explain what this story was.
Yeah.
I got to figure it out myself, and I love that.
There
That's
you go.
awesome.
It worked out.
That's awesome.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, what was that relationship like with your DP? Because obviously being in front of the camera and being in that zone, obviously in that character, those conversations must have been very thorough in the pre-production going into, especially those fight sequences.
You would think that they were real thorough. But what I will say is Zach Anderson, who was our DP, who wasn't able to join us today, he's awesome though.
He's our good friend too.
Yeah, he's a friend of ours. Oh, I can't hit this table too much. Bang, bang, shake, shake.
Oh.
He we've worked with him for a while now. So I'm like, just a little bit of my backstory. I'm a theater boy originally. I thought I was gonna move to New York. I was gonna do theater, maybe try to do. I have a background in improv. I'm also from the Boston area originally. So I was performing with Improv Boston. I kind of thought I'd go to New York. I have a few friends that were trying to get on Broadway and stuff. And then ding, 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 this happened. And she was like, I'm moving, because we met at school. She was like, I'm moving back to Minnesota. And I was like, sick. I don't know where that is, but obviously that's where I'm going to. It wasn't until COVID happened that I started doing anything with film. And the first thing that we ever made, do you know those like fan submitted ads for Doritos for like the Super Bowl ads
I think
and
they
stuff?
stopped doing them, but they were doing them kind of.
Yeah, they
weird.
did one. It was called Crash from Home, was like the contest that the NFL did with Doritos. And these people that we knew, including our DP, Zach, they wanted to make something. And I've always been a very like creative ideas person, but sometimes when you're just on like the hamster wheel of life, like you're just going, and then, okay, the bar that I was working at shut down. I couldn't teach any classes because we couldn't get people together in person. So I was just sitting around twiddling my thumbs for a while. And they were like, we know we want to make something, but we're not sure what. And I was like, I got nothing but ideas. So we had never done anything like that before. but I came up with this really fun concept. And that video, I mean, we have a YouTube channel that we haven't not posted anything on in a long time, but that video has almost 4 million views right now because just like for whatever reason, like a lot of people really enjoyed it. But I think because of that signal that we got back, we were like, okay, let's maybe do more of this.
And it was very like action comedy.
Yeah,
you know,
it was like
really funny,
comedy.
really high action in 30 seconds, you know. So and our DP Zach did that, and we really built a fun relationship with him, and he loves action. He loves all the same movies we do. He's such a run and gun type guy, and has all the great equipment. So
it was more, I'd say more so than the careful planning and pre-vising and storyboarding every shot. It was more about the relationship that we have with Zach, because from then we've made a bunch of fight scenes with him just for like small, almost sketch type things, not like a short film. So this was our first thing shooting with him that was like, we're actually trying to take this seriously. You know, we want to think of story, not just me doing a front flip because I can, you know, something like that. Like we want to try to do.
Although I always keep you in check. If it doesn't add to the story, it's not going in.
I know.
We lost that whole front part. I was like, David, it's not gonna work. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's so
fun. You're welcome.
That's fun being put in check. And I'm like, maybe I could do a front flip here. And she's like, why? We just pause the story for a second so you could look cool doing a front flip. Work. But see, again, I use way too many words, but all that to say, you brought it back around to Zach. Nicely done. She's the editor.
Always bring it back around to the point.
But with our DP, it was more about the relationship that we have, understanding each other. And for sure, it would have been awesome, like if he could have come to some of the rehearsals and really like planned out every shot.
We don't suggest doing the run and gun on like an actual film.
No, but we kind of just trusted we were going to try to do the lighting as universal as possible, so there weren't too many tweaks in the setups. And then just trust that me and Zach were going to be on the same page. So for the most part, I think there were only a couple moments that afterwards I was like, dang, I actually wish I got that from this angle or something. But it really was us just kind of throwing it together because we knew each other. We knew how he knew how I was going to move. I knew how he was going to move.
But you also knew what you wanted from each scene, from each shot. You knew what you wanted to communicate, and like to be able to say, Zach, this is what I want, and then they play into each other. So that works out great. But you always come into you have a vision for each thing that you do.
Yeah.
And that I always really respect and appreciate that, because sometimes people don't, and it gets very confusing on set. And you're like, what do you want as the director? You know, but I love that you actually know what you want in your stories.
That's awesome. I actually really don't thrive on compliments, but thank you.
Well, you got one anyway. Accept
it. I do like that. I like knowing you're on the same page with that. I mean, that's three components of that film where you guys all knew exactly where you were going with this.
Yeah.
It's very rare that you find that. So
it's I understand now, like just a little bit when you hear of these big directors that always work with the same people, whether it's like the same actors or cinematographer or whatever. It's like, I definitely get that, because a huge part of it is just doing the work to understand each other and understand, just to be able to communicate.
And trust, you build trust with those people. And that's why Quentin Tarantino works with the same core group of people on the same editors, because you build that trust with each other.
Yeah, I'm basically Quentin Tarantino.
I'm not comparing you to Quentin Tarantino. Not yet, at least.
Hey, go ahead. Just do it. It's fine. So you're the director, and you said, Theresa, you're the editor.
Yeah, I did. Obviously we work a lot together, because especially doing action, you want to work closely with the choreographer / director to make sure every beat hits the way, So, but I did all of the editing and all of the VFX, and all of the, the credits and the gun flares and stuff like that. And then we had someone doing sound. So I'm glad that I didn't have to do that as well, because that would have been a lot. But I have done that before.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that do you guys know Corridor Crew? We love watching. They have a YouTube channel. I think they're from, what, you're in this with your hair?
I almost got hit by a fly. I thought it was him. Like, shut up. I'm like,
Yeah. But I think
All right.
Core Crew, I think they're from Minnesota, actually. I think so
Didn't
originally.
know
That's
that.
why they made some stuff there. But they have like the Stuntmen React videos.
Love
I think
those.
that's watching a ton of those videos and
Mhm.
us realizing, like watching something together and seeing like, what we don't like. But what you see a lot is that people who are maybe the fight coordinators, they often will have, like you were saying, a really clear idea kind of like how this has to go together to make sense. A
Yeah.
lot of times it's like you're just doing a scene. We could see that scene play out back here. We could do a close, like there's so many options. A lot of times with the fight stuff, things kind of have to stitch together a certain way.
Mhm.
So I think when we're editing the fight scenes together, I've probably been a little too overbearing in the editing room, and then
He trusts me now more and more, he likes to get his grubby little hands in there and do stuff, but you see that I can put stuff together
yes,
very well.
but it's
Yeah.
taken that doing that
Mhm.
enough times together to like understand and
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Because
yeah.
fight stuff is hard. Fight stuff is hard to shoot and hard to edit. It's, but it's so worth it, obviously, because action is just so awesome. But it is, I think people watch fight stuff and they're like, wow, that's so cool. Like I can do that. But it is so specific and tedious. And you really have to know exactly what you're looking for and how it's going to look in the edit.
Yeah.
So it's great that like we can work as a team with that on the pre side and the post side.
She's good though. She's good. Teresa really likes music and like using
Mhm.
music in her edits. Um and I think like obviously there's like a rhythm. Any scene there's a rhythm to it, but especially fighting where it's really like movement based and
Mhm.
stuff, like rhythm I think is really important. And I think that's one of the things that we both want to do more and more
Mhm.
is use music
Yeah.
with those fight things.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was the first time I asked a friend of mine to like compose a song for this specifically.
Mhm.
So when kind of the action kicks off, that's a song that someone composed specifically
It's
for
really
this.
cool.
And
Yeah.
it was cool getting to have that ahead of time
Yeah.
and kind of like, put the beats
Tweak
to
some
it.
things
Yeah.
kind of as we go. Yeah. But yeah, my day job is editing. So my goal would be to just edit our things and get paid, to do that. We actually have a budget to make a film and stuff like that. So hopefully stuff like this can get our names out there and eventually we can start funding other films that we do.
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, you're able to just shut it off and be husband and wife and just
For the
talk about the movie.
We like
for the most part.
we all the time are like we forgot to put our work hats on, but we both
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
like
We'll pretend to put,
you're like we're working now, and
yeah.
then like I'll say something maybe that I wouldn't so much say to wife Teresa, but maybe I
Mhm.
would say to editor Teresa.
Yeah.
That's been a challenge to navigate.
Yeah, we just celebrated 7 years of marriage together,
Dude.
and that's incredible. But I mean, it's such a journey to try to get to this point that we're at. I mean, we
Yeah,
have
yeah.
worked so hard as a couple and so hard in our work life to start to establish this trust with each other that like you can say what you want to say to me and vice versa. And we got our own crap in our heads and stuff like that, that we're both in therapy and love, mental health, and we both have a lot to work on. So my insecurity gets in the way sometimes, and stuff like that.
I
But
was literally just talking about this because we were filming the last 2 weekends. I was just talking about this in my therapy session. Just I don't want to go too deep here, but just I worry about other people's emotions in life in general. But I have found that when I'm on a film set, I am much more easily able to kind of tamp that down because it feels like we all understand we're trying to make the best thing possible here.
mm,
Like, why else would we show up? Why are we
yeah,
here if we're not trying to make this the best it can be? So I think it's easier for me
bit
to
of a
be like,
perfectionist.
I think, I think it's easier.
Waiting now, guys, don't look.
I,
We do a lot of bits too.
My face is
We
getting
just all
so
stopped.
red.
You're fine.
It's this light. I think that it's much easier for me to understand, like, we all should be able to just put that stuff aside a little bit while we're filming and then come back and be like, yeah, did I say that to you the most perfect way possible? No, I said it the fastest way possible because we have a finite amount of time on the set. But there have definitely been times that maybe I communicated in a certain way. And then afterwards she was like, that sucked the way you said that. I was like, yeah, you're right. I would not say that just in life,
Yeah.
I
But
was directing.
having these honest conversations with each other to like make sure we're constantly on the same page, and we're constantly like fighting for that, like we work really hard to be that way. And I think the more and more we work together, the easier that is going to be. But it definitely is a challenge to be husband and wife, and also we spend like almost 24/7 together with like the stuff we do. So but I haven't, I still like you, and I still like spending time with you.
It's going great.
But yeah, we'll be watching like a movie, and then we'll start like breaking it down in like work mode. And
I know,
and I'll have to be like, no, we're just gonna enjoy this movie. We're just gonna, but we're constantly, but I don't mind that, Yeah.
Nice.
I ended on a very weird note.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, we're gonna have to wrap this up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a cheapskate, and we only did the 30-minute thing. So,
Oh,
no worries.
it was great to talk with you guys. Good to meet you. Hopefully, you can come up for the festival.
Yeah,
that would be
100%,
awesome. Yeah, I mean,
100%.
it's a different state, but it's like so close.
It's close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Anything?
Yeah, we'll run the trailer, obviously. And I guess if you have the 30-second synopsis rundown you want to give of the film that would intrigue people and make them want to come see the film, what would that be?
Yeah, do you want to?
No, please.
I've just they got like 3 questions in because I talked way too much.
That's
so
very
you
true.
Try?
Just jump in it.
Yeah.
No, go for it. Go for it. I'll jump in to if needed. And go.
Special Agent Jenna Tuesday. No, I'm not going to do a thing. What I would say the film is about 2 characters that have to work together, despite maybe being a little different, to kind of unveil the truth of someone who tried to set them up. And it's pretty action packed. That it's gonna be super fun. Stay for the action, or come for the action, and then stay for some fun character moments too. We got some emotional scenes, and it's a very fun ending. And I think it's just a good time. And we like to make stuff that is just really fun
and enjoyable
and fun.
and enjoyable.
I know you have a character named Argyle in there too, right?
A character named Carlisle.
Oh, Carlisle.
Oh,
Carlisle.
Okay.
Argyle. Argyle. Time.
Like I wore the Argyle sweatshirt today.
You should have put
Because I thought
Carlisle
that
in
was the name of
Argyle.
the villain. but
Carlisle.
never mind.
Carlisle wearing Argyle would have been.
Carlisle. Yeah.
You should think about that next time.
Yeah. Put him in Argyle. Yeah. Yeah.
We'll just
Absolutely.
cast.
Don't even have to do character
he's got a
development
great
right there. You already know.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much
Yeah,
for
seriously, thank
having
you.
us, and we enjoyed it.
Yeah, great to meet you guys, and keep making movies and keep us on your radar.
That sounds great. We will do.
Thank you guys.
Once again, we'll thank our sponsors here.
Yeah, sitting here at IOC, Island Orchard Cider. It's been wonderful that they let us use the space. They are closed right now, so we don't actually get to drink the cider, but
We'll be back.
we'll be back.
We'll be back.
Yeah.
We come to the festival, we will check it out.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and the festival is February 13th, 14th, and 15th this coming winter.
That
Great.
sounds amazing.
Looking forward to
Happy
it.
Valentine's Day.
I know you were set up.
Not just me.
You mean your CIA friend? You never know who you can trust.
At the exit! Where are you?
Tuesday.